Hello and welcome to another update video about Cardano after the, as far as I know, successful mainnet rollout, Alonzo mainnet rollout. I've briefly looked into the input-output Hong Kong live stream and it all looked good, it all sounded good. I mean, nothing really happened. You won't recognize anything, you won't realize anything, but it is actually the advantage of the Cardano protocol that you don't really, and the combinator event, that you don't really see a major difference. So it's just working, and unless I hear anything differently, I expect it is working, it's all going well. And I mean, it's late now here in the UK, so I probably won't do anything until tomorrow morning, but I still wanted to have a quick look at the price. Congratulations to the Input Output Hong Kong team, to the whole Cardano team, and to the whole community, because this is not only about the price, guys. This is a long-term thing. This is a project, and for me, this is really not only about the price, it's about the technology, it's about evolution. You know, this is really something big. So as I always say, if the price drops as it did while watching the countdown going to zero, it's not a problem. It is just, you know, if you believe in the project, if you know about the technology and you decide that you believe in the project, then a dip of maybe 2, 3, 4% shouldn't really bother you. So sometimes it's good to detach ourselves from that emotion, from that price. I know sometimes it's hard, but try to see the long-term perspective, and that is really why I'm in Cardano as well. Let's take a quick look at Bitcoin. On the daily chart, we can see the golden cross, where the 50-day is going to cross the 200-day to the upside, moving average. That is still coming, probably in the next couple of days. That will come. And as I said before, that is a really bullish signal. Unfortunately, we actually dropped quite dramatically. It was quite bad on the hourly, at least it looked like that. Here on the daily, it doesn't look at all bad. Yes, we can see that we had 2 candles now with a long upper wick, which means there was this rejection out of this channel again. We just couldn't close within this channel yet. Again, maybe we can get it done today, but I doubt it. I think we will close below this channel, which is yeah, not good. I thought we could get back into this channel, into this purple rectangle. That would have been good. And I talked about why in previous videos. We can still see that we are sort of in a downtrend. The ADX is showing that with the red DI line above the green one. The RSI is pretty bad, below 50 now. However, if we get any lower, we will get into oversold territory soon, which will then be a buy signal again. And the MACD, and that's not at all good. The MACD is going to cross the zero line very soon, indicating actually rather a move to the downside. Something that confirms that actually is, and I talked about that earlier today, is that bearish pennant which is forming here. So you've got that huge pump to the downside and a symmetrical triangle, which is a trend continuation pattern. So looking at the indicators and looking at that pattern here, it's rather indicating a move to the downside. Also, we are below the 200-day moving average, which would indicate that we are in a downtrend. Actually, we've been there now for the first time yeah, in a while now. Happened here, we closed 1 day below it. Now we might close 2 days below that, which wouldn't be good at all, to be honest. Would be rather bearish. We're also below the 50-day moving average now. So all of that points me towards a rather bearish scenario for Bitcoin. I did say earlier today that I would hope it will break to the upside because of that golden cross which is coming, but at the moment it is looking, if I just objectively look at the chart, it's not looking great, I must say that. So I'd rather probably, you know, looking at the MACD now, crossing that zero line to the downside potentially. If that happens, and if we close below that 200-day moving average, I would expect this breaking to the downside. And let's take a quick look at the hourly chart before we go to Bitcoin. Here you can see it in more detail. We are still in that triangle here, which we're trading in, that I said, this bearish pennant potentially, making higher lows. Yes, that's the case, but it's just that whole triangle here, which in itself is a trend continuation pattern. And because we are now sort of in a downtrend, I mean, it's not clear because the 200-day moving average, we're just slightly below it on the daily. Let's take a look at Cardano, and again here on Cardano on the daily, it's not looking great, I must say, because we are currently trading in an ascending wedge. I didn't spot that earlier, but it really looks like an ascending wedge. And as you know, an ascending wedge, when buyers are struggling to push the highs higher while the lows are getting higher, but the highs are not getting as high as they as the lows, for example. So it's indicating basically a loss in momentum that has normally in the past led to a break to the downside. It normally does. It's an ascending wedge. It's a bearish pattern normally, and it's not guaranteed to break to the downside, but it's more likely. Also looking at the indicators, they're not looking great. Again, the ADX is pointing towards the downside at the moment, so indicating the next move might be to the downside on the daily. Also the RSI is now bouncing off the 50, which is basically that border from bullish to bearish. Below 50 is rather bearish. And then the MACD, also here we are going to have a cross below the 0 line, which would be a little bit bearish as well on the daily. On the weekly, I think it's all looking good. I don't want to make this video too long now, but on the daily, a bearish move to the downside might now be coming, indicated also by these two very strong shadows to the upside, these long wicks to the upside, which indicate that we are struggling to push higher. So objectively, again, looking at Cardano, it's looking like we might have another drop to the downside out of this ascending wedge. Let's take a look at the 4-hour chart, and here we can actually see we already broke out on the 4-hour. So we just need to see where we are going to close on the 4-hour chart. As I said, we have already broken to the downside, and let's see how that develops further. Not a massive move to the downside at the moment, but now we obviously need to get back in. We found support here at the 200 period moving average on the 4-hour chart. The ADX bearish as well, had a bearish cross here. The RSI again pushing below 50, and the MACD seems to make actually did a bullish cross yesterday. So that's not looking too bad, but it's making lower highs. So again, not really too good. And what does the hourly say? We have again a bearish trend here on the ADX. We are in the red on the MACD, and also the RSI is below 50, indicating again something like a downtrend. We're also below some of the key moving averages now. Again, I would say here, because we broke out of that ascending wedge, that we might be looking at a move to the downside. Obviously, what is critical that we don't break below that neckline here, which is at 255 pretty much. That is a double top, which is again a bearish pattern, guys. We don't want to break below 255. If we do, I think that's critical. We already did. I think while we had the countdown, we broke down to 250. Luckily, we bounced off there. So indicating the buyers are still here, guys. Let's see if that holds. 255, definitely the 250 needs to hold. That is an important support level. But again, it's not looking great. Not on the daily, not on the hourly, not on the 4-hour, to be honest. So there might be a little bit ongoing consolidation now. It started to look really good, but because we have failed to break above the 270 now, or 274 here on the hourly, and we had a double top, I think we seem to be struggling. Yeah, we seem to be struggling. So, however, we are now in the mainnet. The Alonzo mainnet rollout has been completed. These are fundamentally really good news, but I think it might take a moment until the market really picks it up, until we can see it in the price. But for me, it's a long-term game, and it's not only about the price. So let's see. And if it goes up, we are of course really happy. And if it goes down, we buy more. That's what we long-term holders do. So not to be worried at all. I think a really good day for Cardano holders. And bear in mind where we were after the drop, after that so-called flash crash. Since then, I mean, we went down to $2. We're already at 256 again. So it's normal in the crypto space that you move very quickly during the day and during weeks. So my hope lies now in that bullish cross on the Bitcoin chart, and the fundamental news that we have had a successful mainnet rollout, and that the demand for ADA coins will go up. And if you remember, when we had the London hard fork, Ethereum, it didn't just go up on the same day. So have a bit of patience, guys. And of course, everybody needs to make their own investment decisions. But for me, ADA is definitely a huge, very important and very successful project. All right, hopefully you liked that update. If you did, please smash the like button. And if you want to follow me on this crypto journey, then please subscribe. Thanks a lot for watching and see you in the next video. Bye.